History of the book. In a highly secure British sales office, employees handling high-value materials adhere to strict security protocols. They must wear pocketless clothing and are weighed upon entering and exiting to account for every gram. This factory boasts 6 production lines, collectively producing approximately 500 passports per hour, highlighting how a document, once a simple permission slip, has evolved into an item of industrial security. Historically, travel permission was granted through various paper promises. Examples include the Ottoman tezkere for provincial travel, a letter for harbour access, and Persian letters, similar to Nehemiah's, that allowed passage beyond the river. In India, the document details paid passes issued by a superintendent of seals. Han China's passes even included physical descriptions for children, listing age, height, and features. During the medieval Islamic era, a tax receipt could serve as proof of movement. Though diverse in form, these documents shared a common purpose, an authority's endorsement opening the way for travel. Early modern states solidified these practices. In England, travel papers were formally recognised by the early 1400s, with issuance responsibilities shifting from the Privy Council by 1540 to the Secretary of State by 1794. Across the Holy Roman Empire, mid-16th century police ordinances, confirmed at the Diet of Augsburg, mandated imperial letters of passage for travellers, with expulsion or even an imperial ban as consequence for non-compliance. Here, identity verified by paper became the key to passage. The 19th century saw a move towards standardized travel documents. In 1850, several German states adopted a uniform pass card template, ensuring consistency in issuer, bearer's name, and legal status, residence and physical description across borders, though some itinerant workers were not eligible. However, the advent of railways dramatically altered this system. From the mid-1800s until World War I, the sheer volume and speed of travel made strict border checks impractical, leading to more permeable borders and a significant decrease in the number of people carrying passports. World War I revitalised the passport system. In 1914, Britain formalised citizenship rules, transforming passports into booklets with photographs. Post-armistice, League of Nations meetings in 1920, 1926, and 1927 established common booklet formats and photo standards. For the stateless, the League of Nations introduced the Nansen passport, a recognised travel document that, while not conferring nationality, allowed the bearer to apply for visas, cross borders, and seek employment where accepted. A global travel conference in 1963 produces no binding rules. Politics can't agree on admissions. The breakthrough comes from engineering. In 1980, the ICAO publishes Doc 9303, the rulebook for machine-readable passports. It standardizes the 2-line code on the data page, the MRZ, so any reader, anywhere, can pass the same fields in the same order. Check digits catch typos and edits instantly. Later editions define what lives on the chip and how it's signed, so tampering is detectable. Through these decades, the identity page itself evolves. For a long time, it is high-grade rag paper with watermarks, guilloche linework, microprint, and intaglio ink. In the 1970s, many countries added clear laminate over the photo and data for durability. Forensic work teaches its limits. Laminates can be lifted, text bleached, and reprinted, so the material changes. By the late 20th century, plastic arrives. Finland moves licenses to plastic in 1989, and passports follow. The modern answer is polycarbonate, multiple sheets fused into one slab, with the details laser-engraved into the depth. Try to lift a portrait, and the page exposes the attack. The United Kingdom adopts a polycarbonate data page in 2020. Alongside the paper-to-plastic story runs the identity-to-biometric story. In 1879, Alphonse Bertillon builds anthropometry, 11 measurements of the body, plus the first standardized mugshot, to fix a person to a card. It spreads quickly. Then, fingerprints supersede it as a more reliable unique marker. Photography standardizes in passports by the 1920s, and later, chips carrying high-quality digital faces. The manufacturing line changes too. Serialized components, laser systems for engraving and numbering, pocketless floors, way-in way-out controls, and audit trails that track every booklet from blank to finished document. Run your finger across a genuine passport and you'll feel what desktop printers cannot fake. The country name, coat of arms, and fine borders rise from the page in crisp ridges, intaglio printing, where steel plate pressures drive ink deep into the paper fiber. Counterfeits produce flat ink. The real thing has shoulders you can catch with a fingernail. Look closely at those hair-thin interlaced curves called guilloche. On authentic documents, they're razor sharp. Fakes render them blurry or mushy. What appears as a single hairline is actually tiny, readable letters under magnification. Letters most scanners blur into noise. But the deepest secrets don't appear until you change the light. Under specific ultraviolet wavelengths, hidden maps and emblems materialize across the page, printed with inks that remain invisible in daylight. The border guard's UV lamp descends directly from Wood's lamp, once used to hunt secret writing. Spies employed organic sympathetic inks, lemon juice and milk, that darkened with heat, and inorganic salts revealed by chemicals or ultraviolet. Counter-spies learned to expose these messages with UV, iodine fumes, or reagents before the enemy received them. Modern passports flip this cat-and-mouse game. The document itself advertises authenticity through predictable UV behaviors, making fakes betray themselves through incorrect color, brightness, or placement. Optical brighteners in paper stock and anti-Stokes pigment responds to light in ways kitchen chemistry just cannot mimic. Tilt the page and dynamic visuals emerge. A patch printed with optically variable ink snaps cleanly between colors, green to purple, as you rock the document. Counterfeits show a dull, smeared rainbow instead. Holograms take this further. Genuine examples are micro-relief surfaces that steer light with precision. In a lab, a laser beam splits. One reference beam hits its photosensitive plate while the other bounces off a mask. Where these waves meet, interface fringes form, a microscopic map of scattered light. This master becomes a metal shim that embosses relief into multi-layer film on the production line. A reflective coating enhances color vibrancy. When white light strikes these grooves, each ridge acts like a diffraction grating, directing wavelengths in different directions and creating hard color edges and kinetic effects that sweep as you tilt. Security holograms often use rainbow geometry for visibility in room light, while advanced electron beam writers embed microtext, multiple images, and choreographed motion paths. Dennis Gabor theorized holograms in 1947, but only coherent lasers made them practical. By 1980, they secured banknotes and credit cards. British passports added them in 1998. Creating genuine holograms demands lasers, clean rooms, electroforming, and perfect registration. Cheap imitations fail simple tests. No sharp parallax, missing microtext, smeared rather than scripted movement. Polycarbonate passports introduce optical features impossible with paper. Laser engraving alters plastic beneath the surface, creating letters with depth and a distinct burn texture. Perforated numbers drill straight through the data page. Hold it to light and the holes align perfectly front to back. Designers hide tiny text within strokes of larger letters. A small clear window often displays two portraits, multiple or channeled laser images, written at slightly different angles inside the plastic. Tilt one way, and image A appears. Tilt the other, and image B snaps into view. If both goes together, or neither separates cleanly, the feature is compromised. This creates layers of scrutiny. Anyone can feel the intaglio, tilt for color shift ink, or watch the hologram move. Trained staff check for specific UV elements in exact positions. expected infrared behaviors, and microtext with predefined phrases. Labs conduct forensic analysis, measuring line widths, ink spectra, and groove geometry. Just as intelligence services once hunted microdots and dead drop codes, officers now seek telltales, UV elements out of place, intaglio that feels printed rather than pressed, holograms with pretty rainbows but no motion script, or laser portraits that sit on plastic instead of in it. The story of authenticity is written in light, and the tools to read it advance constantly. How machines trust it. At the bottom of the data page, 2 lines of 44 characters form the machine-readable zone. ICAO Doc 9303 dictates the field order. Document type, issuer code, name, passport number, nationality, date of birth, sex, expiry, and optional personal number. Embedded within are check digits, letters mapped to numbers, each character multiplied by a repeating weight of 7, 3, and 1, the sum taken modulo 10. Alter a single character, and the calculation fails, alerting the reader instantly. Open the passport, and the contactless chip embedded in the polycarbonate activates. Inside sits logical data structure, DG1, replicating the MRZ text, DG2, holding the facial image, DG3 and DG4 contain fingerprints or iris data we used, and the security object stores hashes of all data groups plus a digital signature from the issuing authority. The reader confirms the signature against the issuer's public key, distributed through national certificates and the ICAO public key directory. Any tampering breaks the signature. Passive authentication. To defeat simple cloning, active authentication requires the chip to sign a real-time challenge, proving it possesses a private key. Early e-passports used basic access control, deriving session keys from the MRZ to encrypt the radio conversation. Most newer documents employ PACE, a stronger key agreement protocol, where sensitive biometrics live. Extended access control demands the reader present additional credentials before the chip releases them. At an e-gate, mathematics takes over. A camera captures your face, software adjusts for lighting and pose, identifies landmarks, and extracts a feature vector, numbers representing your face in high-dimensional space. It compares this to the vector stored in DG2, generating a similarity score. Operators set the threshold. Lower scores mean fewer false rejections, but more false acceptances. Higher scores reverse the trade-off. Liveness checks, blink prompts, near-infrared texture analysis, depth sensors, defeat photos, and masks as sensor technology improves. Policy may require separate watch list search beyond the core verification. The path to this moment is long. In 1879, Alphonse Bertillon recorded 11 body measurements and the first standardized mugshot to re-identify repeat offenders. Fingerprints displaced it in the early 1900s. During the Cold War, Woody Bledsoe and Peter Hart, reportedly with US government funding, projected faces onto a RAND tablet, clicked landmarks with a stylus pen, and stored coordinates instead of the full images to fit the memory of room-sized computers. Accuracy was mixed, but the speed made it useful, laying the foundation for today's facial recognition. Malaysia introduced the first biometric e-passport in 1998. The UK followed with chip-enabled passports and automatic gates since 2006. By the 2020s, digital travel credentials allow pre-sharing of a signed digital passport copy, so the gate anticipates your arrival, while the physical booklet remains the legal fallback. Trials for walk-through corridors use multiple cameras to verify identity as you move, eliminating the stop. 2 features anchor this system. The MRZ's fixed field order and check digits mean an ordinary office printer cannot produce a convincing data page. Even a single character change breaks the checksum. Signatures work because the issuer signs with a private key and the border verifies a public key. No secret sharing, no external communication needed. Any alteration fails validation. Edge cases reveal that recognition trumps ideology. The UN laissez-passer lets officials travel on duty. The EU and African Union issue similar documents for staff, accepted because states agree to treat them as official. The Sovereign Military Order of Malta issues a small number of diplomatic or service passports, recognised unevenly depending on bilateral ties. The Holy See and Vatican City issue distinct passports, the former for diplomacy and the latter for a tiny citizenry, showing that issuer and territory aren't the same. Interpol travel documents can expedite official travel where states opt in. At the symbolic end, the World Passport promotes global citizenship, but it is accepted only case by case and won't substitute for a national passport at most borders. Same infrastructure, different recognition. From the MRZ's check digits to the chip's signatures to the camera's similarity score, a modern passport is a chain of verifications. The materials make tampering visible, the optics expose fakes, and the mathematics let a gate decide, quickly and reproducibly, whether the document is genuine and the person matches. The passport began as a simple promise written on paper, a letter from one authority asking another to let the bearer pass. Over centuries, it hardened into policy, standardized into booklets, and evolved into a layered defense of materials, light, and algorithms. What once granted permission to move now determines who belongs where, encoding freedom and restrictions in the same small book. From pocketless factory floor, where every gram is tracked, to the UV lamp revealing invisible ink, to the camera matching your face against a chip in milliseconds, the passport remains what it always has been, proof of identity and permission to cross. The technology has changed. The tension between movement and control has not.